To ask question number 035 on the order paper. A, how much money did the Ministry of Education set aside for learner capitation grants in the academic years 2023 and 2024? And could the minister state the proportion that has so far been disbursed for each of those years? And B, what measures has the government put in place
to ensure timely disbursement of the capitation?
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the invitation, and thank you, honorable senators. Mr. Speaker, the answer to that, in order to answer that question, I'll give a background. The approved capitation rates to be provided by government, Mr. Speaker, for primary education is 1,420 shillings per learner per year. And for junior secondary school, it's 15,042 per learner per year. And for secondary schools, it's 22,244 shillings per learner per year. Mr. Speaker, the disbursements to schools are aligned to the financial year, with the academic years falling in between two financial years. Thus, for example, the academic year 2023 fell within the academic year, the financial year 2022-2023 and 2023-2024 financial years. The capitation grants for the various levels of education for 2023 and 2024 are stipulated in table number 1, and for primary schools, Mr. Speaker, for 2023, for the financial year 2022-2023, the budgeted allocation was 11,811,734 shillings 102. For the academic year, for that academic year, because it falls into academic financial years, the first academic year, the allocated amount was 8,346,470,273.10. The actual amount disbursed for that academic year was 10,922,126,767.
For that same year, because of the falling between two financial years, 2023-2024, the budgeted allocation was 9,476,460. For the academic year, it was 8,063,900,179. The amount disbursed was about 8.8 billion. You'll see the figures in those tables. For 2024, the first financial year 2024-2025, the budgetary allocation was 9,120,509,159, and for the academic year, the allocation was 1.6 billion, and the amount disbursed was about 1.5 billion. The actual timely disbursements are as indicated on the second table that is on paragraph 3, and it shows that the amounts are disbursed per term. On the 25th January 2023, the total enrollment was 8,123,952, and the amount disbursed was 2,798,701,464. 15th of May 2023, which was term 2, the enrollment was 3,753,610. The amount disbursed was 4,276,174,553.10. On the 21st of August 2023, which was term 3, the enrollment was 5,540,673. The total amount disbursed was 1.5 billion, 1,532,829,077.40. And in January 2024, term 1,
The enrollment was 6,047,112. The total amount disbursed was 4,212,343,224. And in June 2024, 24th of June 2024, which was term 2, the enrollment was 4,995,791. The total disbursement was 2,023,900,006.20. And lastly, on 28th of August 2024, term 3 of this term 2024, the enrollment was 5,398,191, and the disbursement was 1,532,829,077.40. For term 2, under table 2, you'll see the disbursements for free day junior school. For the academic year 2023, the budgetary allocation was 13,385,331,614. For the academic year, the allocation was 15,233,682,022.90, and the actual amount disbursed was 13,385,252,144. 2024, on the financial year 2023-2024, 31 billion was budgeted for, but for the academic year, the allocation was 35,351,558,928.85, and the amount disbursed was 30,469,542,115. And for 2024, for the financial year 2024-2025, the budgeted allocation was 30,660,000,000, and for the academic year, it is 6,109,654,634, and the amount disbursed was 6,109,654,633. The actual termly disbursements are indicated on the next table on paragraph 4, and it goes as follows. 11th of March 2023, which was term 1 for 2023, the total enrollment was 1,008,871. The total amount disbursed was 9,581,468,671.20. On the 15th of June 2023, term 2 of 2023, the enrollment was 1,018,809, and the total disbursement was 3.7 billion. On 19th of September 2023, which was term 3 of 2023, the enrollment was 1,018,847, and the disbursement was 1,877,432,522,000. On the 14th of June 2024, which is term, on 3rd of January 2024, term 1 of 2024, the enrollment was 982,688. The total amount disbursed was 15,194,529,753. On 24th of June 2024, that was term 2 of 2024, the enrollment was 1,716,645, and the total amount disbursed was 47,374,541. On 28th of August 2024, that's term 3 of 2024, the enrollment was 1,904,411. The disbursement was 6,109,654,633. For free day secondary school, that is term 3, for the academic year 2023, under the financial year 2022-2023, the budgeted allocation was 63,160,788,241. For that academic year, the allocation was 44,429,121,151. The amount disbursed for that financial year was 61,037,919,069.
For 2024, the academic year 2023, the financial year 2023-2024, the budgeted allocation was 63,958,212,645. For the academic year, the allocation was 64,787,591,731. That financial year, the actual disbursed was 62,853,104,675. For 2024 academic year, the 2024-2025 financial year, their budgeted allocation was 59,885,600,000. For that academic year, the allocation was 14,145,824,283, and the amount disbursed was 14,145,824,283. The actual timely disbursements out of that, Mr. Speaker, is as follows. On the 26th of January 2023, which is term 1 of 2023, the total enrollment was 3,690,376. The total disbursement was 16,289,024,433.92 cents. On 12th of June 2023, term 2 of 2023, the enrollment was 3,664,366. The disbursement made was 15,208,401,428.10 cents. On 2nd of January 2024, which is term 1 of 2024, the total enrollment was 3,881,717. The total disbursement was 32,394,641,274. On 24th of June 2024, term 2 of 2024, the total enrollment was 4,043,714. The total disbursement was 18,247,126,174 shillings. On the 20th of August, which is term 3, 4 million in enrollment was 4,179,615. The disbursement was 14,145,824,283. Mr. Speaker, it's to be noted that over the last 5 years, the funds provided to the Ministry of Education have fallen short of the approved rate, leading to underfunding of the schools. The ministry then is compelled to divide the available amount with the number of learners, which has been increasing every year. This results in capitation amounts that are lower than that is approved. To illustrate this, there is a provision under Table 4, and you will see if you go to the approved budget, for example, in 2018-2019, the approved budget was 59,418,512,759. The enrollment for that year was 2,810,655. The requirement in order to meet that enrollment was supposed to be 62,520,209,820, based on the capitation figures of 1420, 15,000, and 22,000. The deficit, as you can see there, is 3,170,568,934. The rate of disbursement, you can see, comes to 21,140.45 cents instead of the 22,000. In 2019-2020 financial year, the approved budget was 59,419,942,418. The enrollment for that year was 2,948,062. The actual requirement should have been 65,576,691,128. The deficit is 6,156,748,710. The rate disbursed then comes to 20,155.59 cents. The year 2020
2020 to 2021 financial year, the approved budget was 59,421,865,698. The enrollment was 3,396,322. The actual required was 75,547,786,568. The deficit there is 16,125,985,973. The rate disbursed then comes to 17,495 from the 22,000 that is required. The year 2021-2022, the approved budget was 62,421,865,698. The enrollment was 3,587,081. The requirement was supposed to be 79,791,029,764. The deficit is 17,369,456,555. The rate disbursed was 17,401. The year 2022-2023, the approved budget is 64,421,865. The enrollment is 3.6, almost 3.7 million. The requirement was supposed to be at least 82,088,723,000. The deficit is 17,666,873, leading to a rate of disbursement of 17,456. So there has been a consistent deficit from the amount approved against the requirements and against the increment in enrollment of the students that have been increasing, while the budget has not been increasing in tandem with the students. Mr. Speaker, what measures the ministry has taken to ensure timely disbursement? Mr. Speaker, the ministry has taken steps to ensure that there is timely disbursement of the capitation to schools. From the beginning of 2023-2024 financial year, capitation is now disbursed on timely basis on the ratio of 50-30-20. That means for term 1, we do 50%, term 2, we do 30%, and term 3, we do 20%. This is a change from the previous disbursements that were being done quarterly. The ministry requests for funds, and these funds are released immediately they are received. The ministry requests for funds from the Exchequer at least 3 weeks before schools open. Once funds are received from Exchequer, the same are disbursed to schools immediately. There might be some delays that some schools do not receive the money on a timely basis when the Exchequer has delayed, when the capitation disbursement sometimes delay. As a ministry, we consistently follow up with National Treasury to ensure that there is timely provision of the funds. The schools are also required to upload all their learners and bank accounts on the National Education Management Information System, NEMIS. In some cases where the schools do not receive their funds on time, there are situations where there are erroneous information that is uploaded, causing to the rejection of the funds by the banks. School heads are routinely oriented on what is required of them to ensure compliance. I submit.
Honorable Boni, you may now ask your 2 supplementary questions.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for this detailed response, and
want to tell him that the situation on the report is acceptable, but on the ground where the rubber meets the road, the situation is different, in the sense that in Kakamega and many other counties, literally all the heads of schools, they are waiting for money, which is not forthcoming. They are unable to fund the activities in the school, and children end up being taken at home because of those delays. My first question, Minister, My first question. Minister, go to page 2 of your response. Look at bullet 4. The actual termly disbursements are as follows. What is the accuracy of this response if in term 1 you had 900,000 children as enrolled, and in term 3 it had increased by 1 million children? Where did these 1 million children come from that were not there in term 1? It begs for the answer.
Are these actual figures, or you are sending money for fake and imaginary beneficiaries? My second question, Mr. Minister, sir, I invite you to go to bullet 6 of your answer. And you're telling us that in the year 2023, there was a deficit of 17.6 billion shillings deficit. Minister, where do you expect the head teachers to get the money from of meeting this deficit of 17 billion when you have sent a circular forbidding the leadership of schools from levying any charges to these children, to the parents through these children? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, Honorable CS, just note down the questions. You'll take a few from other senators, and then you respond at once. Senator Eddy. Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Welcome, Honorable CS, to the Senate. My question is on the information you've just given us of yearly deficits on capitation for secondary schools. Has the ministry done an impact assessment on the continued failure to meet the required budget for capitation? And if so, how many needy students have you captured who have fallen off the secondary school as a result of this? Secondly, how do you link the bursary funds that purportedly are given by governors, by members of parliament, in regard to the deficit that you have presented in this table? Thank you.
Senator Karungo. Only one question, honorable senators.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mine is very simple. If you look at page 3 of the response from the CS, he has given us a table there of approved budget, enrollment, requirement, deficit. All I wanted to know is that because he has only given the data of 2022-2023, I'd want to know how many learners do we have in the current year of 2024, and that is in secondary schools. How many learners do we have?
Senator Wambua Enoch.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, looking at the table on page 2, the one after bullet 6, there is consistent deficit in funding for the budget of for capitation since the year 2019. 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, a serious deficit. How does the ministry then bridge that gap, and why are they not learning from since 2019? There has always been this deficit. What are they doing about this? I mean, they are carrying it forward in every year. Can that be linked to the talk about ghost schools and ghost students, as asked by Senator Alwale? I thank the Speaker.
Senator Gloria Oroba.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is, with regards to all the deficits that we are seeing, does this have a relation with the current deficits that you have for the return to work formula with the lecturers, as we are currently seeing the university lecturers striking because they claim that the return to work formula was 9 billion that should have been released, but government only gave 4-point-something billion, again pointing out that there is a deficit which is clearly a recurring problem.
Senator S.C. Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to direct this to the Cabinet Secretary. There are general concerns around the disbursement of capitation, especially to special needs education institutions. This is because the Ministry of Education tends to prioritize primary and secondary school institutions, ignoring this other cadre. And during public participation of a bill by Senator Sige recently, the chairperson of these institutions actually brought to our attention that the top-up to learners with disability in these special needs institutions is actually less than Kenya shillings 2,500 per disabled learner. And all of them are treated equally. Whether you're blind, whether you can't walk, it's an equal treatment. Cabinet Secretary, please highlight why this is actually happening. Thank you.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to know from the Minister, the CS, that the junior secondary schools is actually a big challenge in this country. And especially in northern Kenya, my county, Wajir County, has acute shortage of teachers.
Now, Senator Abbas.
Yes, sir.
Your supplementary question must flow from the primary question. The subject matter is capitation.
Capitation, yes, I see.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. I proceed?
Yeah, as long as you're talking on
No,
capitation.
mine is on the same thing I was just asking. Maybe I can ask later.
Yes, because the minister
Okay.
has a few more
I will.
questions, to respond to. Maybe it will be captured in one of the questions that are going to be responded to. Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond to those questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for those questions. Now, in terms of the increment of the numbers that changed from term 1 to term 2, it is because at term 2 there were 2 cohorts moving class 7 together with grade 8 because of the transition that was taking place between the CBC and the 844. That was the cause of that increment in number. With respect to the deficit of 17.6 billion, what has happened is consistently the figures that are being disbursed by Treasury against the requirement in view of the policy of 100% transition has continuously, the numbers have gone up, the numbers of students have gone up, and the amounts have not been proportional to the number to meet the actual capitation that is given. So at no time has the ministry received the fund that is sufficient to cover